Hello and welcome to Low Budget Gaming and welcome to another fast Descendant video. So today I have the Luna build ready for you, and I also have an optional second easy mode build as well. So basically if you are having trouble hitting the notes on Luna, you can practice with the second optional build, and once you get some practice you can move on to the main build. Again, it's not that difficult. You can get the hang of it. In maybe a couple of hours you'll be timing your hits comfortably. Okay, so Luna is actually not as difficult as we may have initially thought. So what I'll do first is quickly explain how her abilities work and how to play her, and then we'll look at the builds. So first up, if you see, her first ability is available, the next three are not. She also has a custom resource under the MP bar. So first you press your Q. When you do this, you'll start seeing notes coming up in the middle of the screen, and your job is to hit these notes and not miss them. Okay, you can use any of the three abilities to hit them, all three of them as well. You can alternate between them. You can pick two, whichever you like. So for example, if we do this, you are hitting them. Okay, now once you hit them, you'll notice your custom resource filling up. Once you have hit 10 in a row, you will have filled up the bar. Okay, and now when you press any of the three, second, third, or fourth, you will go into a enhanced mode. She'll be on the hover. You also notice 3 stars floating around her. Those are the 3 stacks of different things that you get with each of the 3 abilities. They have gone away now because we have been standing for a while. Now if I press the C again, she goes on the hoverboard. She does damage as she moves around the enemy. So this is the enhanced skill. Okay, notice we also got the note stack around the left shoulder. So those are the 3 abilities. Now you have to get 10 to get the custom resource and 13 stacks of each of the 3. If you can max out the 3 of them, you can keep it up to 13 quite comfortably. And basically you get different perks with each of the 3 abilities. The second ability gives you a crit rate increase. The third ability gives you crit damage increase. Fourth ability gives you skill power modifier increase. Okay, so very straightforward. Now let's look into the build and show you how these work. So you activate the first one. This is the non-attribute and tech. Then you have the non-attribute singular, singular, singular. All 3 of them are singular. All 3 of them have pretty much identical cooldowns, MP, damage, etc., except for the last one. So in this second ability called the exciting surge, we have something called Dargo. You'll see that note. Skill critical hit rate 2% increase, and duration is 14.5 seconds. Max tax is 30. Now the skill critical hit rate 2%. She starts off with 15, and this 2% gets added. So 2, 17, 19, 21, 23, and so on. And then the rest of the mods will increase it. I've managed to get it up to 100% with my mods. I'll explain the mods as well. With the third ability, relaxing surge, again everything is identical, except with the crescendo at the bottom, you will be getting skill critical hit damage increase of 2%. Okay, and then the final ability, cheerful surge, all the way down forte, and you will get 2% skill power modifier increase. Again, 13 stacks, 14.5 seconds duration, and so on. So you can see the rest of it. Now the key here is with Luna, you don't have a cooldown if you hit your abilities perfectly. If you miss them, then you go into cooldown and then you can lose your stacks and so on. So for example, here, if we hit the abilities perfectly, there is no cooldown. You can hit your abilities all the time. However, notice when I miss the cooldown, you can see the second ability now has a 20-second cooldown. So this is where, when you're starting out, you may struggle with the abilities. Now, you can play Luna without music. I actually found it easier to play without music because the music wasn't directly helping with hitting the notes. Because some games, if you have played any rhythm FPS games, for example, a good one I would recommend is Bullets Per Minute. Check that out. One of my favorite little indie games. You can use the music to time your shots. In this one, I just did not feel like I could do that. I had to look at the screen and time it in the middle here. So you have to wait for the note to pass through the white diamond and then hit them. You have to do that. You can get the hang of it very quickly. Like I said, it's not that difficult. So you have to do that, unfortunately. So the 3 abilities, what I try to do is I try to rotate between the 3 so that I can build up the stacks of all of them. So I go like this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now we are in the enhanced. So I'm trying to build up the 13 stacks of each of them, and then once we have the 13 stacks, we can maintain them because we just need to hit them once and we'll keep them at 13. As long as we are rotating between all three of them, we will be getting the benefit of all three. So you can see we are at 12, 13, and 9. Let's go a few more times. So 13, 13, 12. And now we'll have 13, 13, 13. So now we can maintain them as long as you don't miss any of them. Okay? And you'll be doing a ton of damage. So instead of looking at the screen and going through the abilities one by one, I actually use the keyboard. So because I'm using the keyboard, I'm going 4, 2, 3. Okay, 4, 2, 3. 4, 2, 3. Okay, so it's easier that way. Otherwise, it becomes a little harder if you're trying to do 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, because the keys are not arranged like that on the keyboard, and we have been used to playing a certain way. Okay, so 13, 13, 13. Now, if we maintain the 13s, we get 100% crit rate, 4.78 for crit damage, 1.22 skill modifier. These are the three that are getting changed. So we'll just wait a few seconds for these to go back to the normal setting. Okay, so 0.961, 38.37, 4.472. So this does not increase by that much, the crit damage. This one goes up to 100%, and this one goes up a little as well. Also notice, because we are using the Enlightened Mage set, we are also getting the extra 84% truth stack. So quickly, let me show you the stats here. Again, standard MP build here. We have the max HP MP recovery out of combat, max MP recovery in combat, defense MP recovery modifier, max shield, and shield recovery. Okay, so when we have 4 stacks, we get 3. We have 4 pieces. We get 3 stacks of truth. Getting the 3 stacks of truth is very easy with Luna because we are hitting the ability so quickly. And then for 15 seconds, we'll do 84% more damage. Okay, so this is the non-attribute. By default, it is at 0.2. Notice when we hit the 3 stacks. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. 1.04 times. So we get the boost from here, and then we get the increase to modifier, increase to crit rate, crit damage, and we'll also get modifier with one of the mods as well, multi-talented. I'll come to that as well. So we are getting a lot of extra power and boost from various ways. All right. So now let's look at the build. So hopefully that made sense. We just have to alternate between the 3 if you can. If you're having a hard time doing all 3, just focus on building up one. So you could just do, let's say, the first one to increase the crit rate. I would recommend doing the crit rate if you can't do all 3 of them. So this way, you don't lose too much in terms of power, but with crit rate being maximum, you will be doing a lot more damage. So this would be a more easier way of doing it. So just press the first ability. Once you get a little more comfortable, then you can start adding the other 2 as well. So that's how I do it, and you can maintain the 3 stacks comfortably of all 3 of them. Okay, so again, you only struggle if you start missing the nodes. Okay, as you can see, I missed the third one. Okay, so that can happen if you're just off by a little bit. Now I have to wait 20 seconds and reset it. Anyway, let's go into the build and explain what I'm doing there. So these 3 are singular. This is tech. What we are doing is we are using maximize skill and maximize power. These give you the most power and most power modifier at the expense of cooldown. However, as you saw with Luna, if you are timing your hits comfortably, then you don't have to worry about the cooldown. Notice here where it says on node success, 0-second cooldown. So again, it's all about in the skill of hitting the nodes perfectly. If you can do that, go with these mods. This will give you the most power. Okay, now we also need range. By default, the range is 6 meters. Maximum it goes is 250%, meaning 15. So we have to put a couple of mods to get it there. Without this one, you'd be at around 140%. So instead of 15, you'll be at 14 point something. So you can go with that if you want, if you don't want the maximum and you have something else planned here. But I did not feel like it wasn't a big problem in terms of power. So I decided to put amplification mod. We are also getting some shield. I'll come to the shield as well because that is also interesting here. So 2 range mods, 2 power mods. We have frontlines, emergency measures, and skill concentration. I'm not using skill insight for crit rate because we are already at 100% crit rate using various combinations, Arche Tuning, Reactor, things like that. Then we have 1 HP mod, multi-talented. So because we are using the singular skills, at the bottom it says when using the singular active skill, all attribute power modifier plus 30%. So all the elements, fire, toxic, ice, um, and what else? Electric and non-attribute. All of them will get a 0.3 times skill power modifier. So basically for 5 seconds, did I not miss? Oh, I missed it initially. Notice this, we'll be getting these. Okay, we are using non-attribute, so this will get multiplied by this, and because it has no cooldown, you can get it up anytime you want. So this is back up, it'll run for 5 seconds, then it'll disappear, then you hit it again, you'll get it back again. So there is no cooldown, so you'll constantly have this, and this will give you a 0.3 times non-attribute skill modifier because that is what we are using here. Okay, back to the build. Okay, so now with the multi-talented done, we have one extra slot here. I've put increased shield. You have various options. I have put a lot of, I put 3 of the catalyst types, the socket types, and so you can pick anything you like. You can get a little more power and defense with iron defense or spear and shield. Spear and shield will give you plus 8.1% skill power increase. So for example, over here, base power is 1.026. If you were to put spear and shield, this goes up to 1.107. Okay, you can get more power that way. You can put, what else can you can put more range, more duration. So if you see over here at the bottom, Largo duration 14.5. You put the extension and we go up to 19.8 seconds, meaning you have a lot more flexibility and you have a little more margin in case you miss a node and you don't want to lose the 13 stacks. You can do that here. You can go with more health if you wanted. So HP, you can use stim accelerant, you can use HP amplification, you can use battle of stamina, so this will give you health and some duration. So we have 9,684 here. If we go with battle of stamina, what we get is a little increase to the duration from 14.5 to 15.8, and this goes up to 12,900, almost 13,000. You can put HP amplification, so 9,684, we have 15,684 now. Big increase. You can also go with stim accelerant. You lose a bit of MP, but MP is not an issue. Again, 15,864. So whatever you like. I've gone with shield because we have 1900 shield here. If we put another shield, we get up to 4,016 shield. Now, why am I using shield here? One of the benefits of the enhanced mod. So if you look at the thing, on node success, that's the first section. Second section, enhanced. Damage, skill power increase, range, shield recovery 50%, MP recovery 50%, movement speed increase 40%. So basically when she goes on the hoverboard, she can get her shield back. Okay, so shield back, MP back, things like that. So let me just see if we can load the shield further. So when we are doing this and we are in the shield, when we go into the enhanced phase, so when we jump on the board, your shield and your MP recover. You'll get it all back if you aren't using too much. And also getting the shield back this way is kind of easy. So that's why I said, okay, we'll put some more shield. We'll take a little bit of the shield build, I suppose, as well. Take advantage of how our abilities work. Okay, now, so this is basically the setup that I'm comfortable with. Like I said, with this one, you have multiple options. You can use more power, more defense. I did not see the point of adding more defense because we already have a lot of defense. We have 11,000 with all the perks from inversion reinforcement and other things. We are actually getting even more when you are doing the missions. This goes up to 25% anyway. Okay, your health also increases with the inversion perks and things like that. So, all right, so we covered the external components. The reactor I've gone for is crit rate and crit damage. Now, crit damage is the must-have option here. Okay, you can go with crit damage and singular power. That would be the best in slot. The next best would be crit damage and non-attribute. This would be the second best. I have gone with crit rate and crit damage because I can avoid using the skill Insight mod by using crit rate over here, getting the 100% crit. In the Arche Tuning, I've gone with mostly skill stuff, all the skills, the big skill over here, range over here. We go up here, take some MP, we take the crit rate nodes and the crit damage nodes, and with the remaining leftover stuff, I just take a little more HP and one shield over here. Okay, so that is the Arche Tuning. On to the Inversion Reinforcement. I've gone with probabilistic recovery system. So HP and MP orbs, when you're picking them up, you have a chance of increasing your max HP or getting recovery of your max HP. With this one, when you defeat an enemy, you get max HP 11.7% for 30 seconds. So this 9,600, this becomes something like 11,200 something. So again, a little more health. And this final one here, movement speed, adrenaline rush. When you defeat an enemy, 16% movement speed for 10 seconds. This is because by default, when she's in her first ability, the Q, she only has 800. So even if you're, say, putting a gun here with 3 sprint cores, you'll not get the benefit of that when she's using her first skill. So in order to get a little bit of speed, we use this one here. So when she defeats the enemy, she'll get a speed. And also in the gun you're holding, you can put the brisk walk mod. This will give you 24% on hitting the enemy. So hitting the enemy will give you some speed, and killing the enemy will give you speed, and they both stack. So in total, you'll get a 40% increase to your movement speed. Okay, so by default, it is 800. When you do both the things, you should be up to 1120. So let's put 9 workers here so that we get both the things in one go. Okay, so now 1120. Okay. So they should help you with moving, because this way she'll be just too slow and the other teammates will be running ahead. That was the one issue I noticed with using Luna. Okay, so we've done the reactor, Arche Tuning, inversion, external components. Now let's quickly talk about the second optional build that I mentioned earlier. Again, very optional. You don't even need this. 1 or 2 hours of practice and you'll get the notes down. So with this training wheels build, we are not using the skill power, maximize skill, and we are using the focus on singular and focus on non-attributes so that we get the cooldown. We are using 2 more cooldown mods, and we can also use the duration if you want it. So this way, even if you miss a node, actually I have a reactor as well. You can use the cooldown and duration reactor. If you use a cooldown and duration reactor, you can get 1.8 seconds cooldown on failure. So with the normal build, if you fail, you have a 20-second cooldown. With this one, you'll have a less than 2-second cooldown, and you'll have a 16-second duration. So more time to maintain your stacks and less of a penalty if you miss your nodes. So this way, you can get some practice on this build. Once you are confident that you are hitting your nodes all the time, you can move on to this noise set. So basically, if you, let's say, miss a node, 2 seconds, that's it. So your stacks will not disappear. You won't have a 20-second cooldown, and you can use all 3 abilities and get more practice. Once you are comfortable, you can switch over to the main build, which is going to give you a lot more power. Basically, in terms of power difference, this build will do about half the damage of this build after some testing I did earlier. So that is Luna. Very fun to use. Maybe not the most practical in a group setup, because you'll just be focusing on your screen and looking at the skills. Meanwhile, your teammates are running and destroying everything. If you glance at a few things here and there, it's okay. But if you don't look at the stuff, you'll miss your nodes. You'll get a 20-second cooldown. So I've been mostly testing her in solo so that I can see the damage to the enemies and actually maintain that. What I'll do right now, because people complain if I don't show some footage, some gameplay footage, I'll just run a little bit of Sigma sector and I'll talk through that and tell you how I do the 3 stacks as well. All right, so before we start, we go Z, C, V, Z, C, V, Z, C, V, Z, C. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Very good. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Basically, this is how you would play it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This guy is annoying as hell. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. See, this is the problem here. If you're not looking at this middle of the screen, you will miss your things. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'll not run the whole thing. You get the idea. And yeah, she's quite powerful. She does a lot of damage and she can take out groups of enemies quite comfortably. Even the ships that come over here, when the Vulgus ships come here, A and B, if you stand underneath it and do the thing, she does damage. So that will also work. Okay, so that is Luna. Hope this was fun. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think. Are you trying to build Luna? Because I'm running into a lot of people using Luna after the PAX East announcement. And yeah, having finally tried and tested her for a few days, I think she's pretty fun if you want something a little different every now and then. Obviously, we'll go back to Inez and Freyna and Bunny and all those people for most of the daily stuff. But yeah, if you want a little bit of a challenge or something different, try out Luna. She's actually pretty fun.